Welcome back to Built Not Bought by Bruce. I want to thank everybody for the input and the opinions on the Sissy Bar issue. I really appreciate all the comments. So I've come up with a plan that I think is good. I think it's going to work, and I wanted to share it with you. And of course, I'd like to hear from you. Let me know what you think, but I think this is a good one. So looking at this, and Kevin, you know who you are. Kevin really put it right on the line for me. He said, if you mount that Sissy Bar forward like you talked about, it's going to be ugly AF. You can figure that out. I appreciate that kind of honesty. I appreciate his comments. So what he did say is that caliper needs to get remounted. And I think that's awesome. He's absolutely right. I was trying to avoid it, but you know what? It's the right thing to do. The brake line is chafing here from rubbing on the frame. This thing, it's okay, but it doesn't need to be sticking up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to relocate this caliper to the bottom. It'll fit fine. There's no issue. It can be down at the bottom here. I can pull it around fairly tight to the frame here. Should work out just fine. I'm going to have to get a little bit creative on a mount for it. But again, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. This mount I always thought was perhaps a little over-engineered. The rod ends, there's no adjustment here, so I don't, I'm not sure what it's really doing, other than it was an easy way to do this. But I think it just, it's odd, it sticks out, and it probably is over-engineered. That said, again, I understand why they did it this way. It was convenient and easy, but seems like a waste of parts and stuff. So we're going to get this down to the bottom, and what that's going to do, it's going to allow me to put the Sissy Bar centered on the wheel. It's also going to allow me to get rid of this big ugly fender mount in here. This fender mount has bothered me ever since I got the bike. I really don't like it. So we're going to get rid of that. Several people said to do the Sissy Bar right, to come off the axle or centered on the wheel. Obviously it's going to need a longer fender. And I realized, yep, that's what it needs. So I'm going to take a look at fenders, and I think I'm going to go with something that'll, obviously we can trim it up and it'll come back further. Probably something with a rib down the center for that extra added strength. Then we'll be able to mount the Sissy Bar, tie it into the fender, really tidy, really nice. Here's where my side of the plan comes into play. I have always thought it would be cool to have two sets of tins for this bike. And here's the kind of guy I am. I would love to go to an event on Saturday with a Sportster tank and a bobbed fender with a paint job. Go home Saturday night, take half an hour, change the fender out, change the tank out, and show up the next day with a longer fender, a Sissy Bar, a peanut tank, and a different paint job. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I don't know why, I think it'd be great to be able to change the look of the bike. I've given it a lot of thought. I think the frame can be a color that works with both paint jobs. On this bike, it's pretty simple. All you really have is the fender and the tank. The oil tank can certainly be painted to match the frame, so again, it will coordinate with either paint job. I can totally change the look of this bike, like I say, probably in half an hour or something like that. With the proper quick disconnect fittings on the tank and everything, I think it'd be great. Lowbrow makes a mounting kit I've seen that would probably work for having interchangeable tanks. I have to look into that more and find out more about that, but that could work. So that's where I'm headed with this now, is we're gonna get that brake caliper swung around to the bottom, reroute the brake line and everything, make that nice and tidy. I'm gonna come up with a mounting system that'll allow me to take that Sissy Bar and Fender off fairly quick. I'll come up with a quick mount down at the base here, and maybe this mid mount will just, be some kind of an interlock for both Fenders. But we'll get rid of this big ugly thing and make that real tidy and clean. So that's where I think I'm going to go with a Sissy Bar. And I would love your comments on that. I'd love your ideas. I appreciate it. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.